the little girl who was betrothed to you at birth? The first thing she says isn't mom or dad, but directly calls your name. Since she could walk, she became your little shadow. No matter where you go, she follows. Every time you impatiently tell her to leave, she always naturally holds your hand and says, "I'm your future wife. Wherever my husband is, his wife will naturally follow. Although she is a year older than you, you've always cherished her. In others' eyes, you are the perfect childhood sweetheart. To both families, you are a match made in heaven. But sadly, good times didn't. 10 years ago, chaos erupted in Jin City. The Su family was implicated and had to move away. Before leaving, little Su Yao held your hand and made a She asked you to remember to marry her when her hair reached her waist. You've always remembered this promise. You've never forgotten it. Later, you gave up the chance and chose to study at Jiangxi because you heard Su Yao was studying there. And today is the Centennial Welcome Gala of Jiangcheng. The crowd was thrilled by the arrival of Su. The excitement made all the students stand on tiptoes, craning their necks to look at their gazes were as fervent as can be. It's said that this campus beauty is the most stunning everyone naturally. At this moment, you were all a bit bored listening to the school leaders. You instinctively turned your head to look at the entrance. This so-called first beauty in a sense truly lives up to the hype. Fair skin, beautiful face. She's more stunning than any celebrity. But after just a few more glances, you turned your eyes away. No matter how beautiful she is, you already have a fiancé. It's destined that you won't have any connection with her. Although this fiancé of yours is someone you haven't seen and you have no idea what she looks like. According to the engagement, your wedding is set for the end of this. Meanwhile, Su Qingluo, holding a cup of stood among the crowd, walking and searching around. She seemed to be looking for something. This made everyone even more curious. Who on earth was Su, the campus beauty? Whoever it was must be extraordinary. Suddenly, a freshman stood up and shouted, "Su Qingluo! I'm over here." It was none other than the freshman representative. He was very handsome and came from a wealthy family. When the crowd saw it was Chen Mingdong, they couldn't help but sigh. It made sense that Su Qingluo he was not just the freshman. He was handsome, came from a good family, and could be described as the perfect, but Su Qingluo's gaze lingered on him for only before she looked away. Then she continued searching through the crowd. Suddenly, a hint of delight flashed across her delicate. She quickened her pace and headed toward a corner. Finally, she stopped in front of you. She held the milk tea in her hands and extended it. In a melodious voice, she said, "Junior, this milk tea is for you." This scene shocked everyone present. Whoa, who is this guy? He actually got the campus beauty to personally give. Even you were stunned. What's going on? Why is the campus beauty giving me milk tea out of nowhere? And I don't even know her. Su Qingluo, seeing your hesitation, once again held out the milk tea in front. "Junior, don't you like milk tea?" This made everyone around completely loose. Su Qingluo is known as the aloof guy. No boy has ever successfully pursued her. Even gifts sent to her are directly rejected. But today, this aloof campus not only delivered milk tea to a junior, but her expression seemed to carry something. Receiving milk tea from Su Qingluo out of the blue and in front of so many people left you feeling flustered. As you were about to refuse, a mystical voice suddenly echoed in your mind. Perfect tycoon system activated. Option 1, accept Su Qingluo's milk tea. Reward, 100x cashback. Option 2, refuse penalty. Your height will decrease by 10. Hearing the voice in your head, you were momentarily stunned, but you quickly realized this might be the legendary system. Reluctantly, you chose the first option. You accepted Su Qingluo's milk. Compared to a future filled with happiness, being envied by others wasn't a big deal. "Thank you, Senior Su, for the milk tea," you said as you took the milk tea from Su Qingluo's hand. However, you still couldn't help. Why would this senior deliver milk tea to me for no reason? The system's voice echoed in your mind again. Task completed. Reward 100x cashback. Valid for 24 hours. Maximum cashback limit 1 million. You couldn't help but feel thrilled. 100x cashback. I can make a fortune in no time. Seeing the smile on your face, Su Qingluo cheerfully waved her hand. "No need to thank me, June. See you around." As she turned to leave, you called out to her. "Senior Su, can I ask why you gave me milk tea?" "Guess," Su Qingluo replied with a playful tone, making her words sound ambiguous. You felt even more puzzled. The envious and jealous gazes from those felt as though they would swallow. "Junior, by the way, this milk tea is for you alone to drink." Su Qingluo turned back and added with a mysterious, then gracefully left. She left behind a faint fragrance. After leaving the gala, Su Qingluo covered her face as even back in her room, her heart was still racing. The blush on her cheeks hadn't faded yet. Delivering milk tea in front of so many people was nerve-wracking for her as a girl, but being able to give it personally to her fiancé whom she hadn't seen in 10 years still filled her with joy. However, you didn't recognize her, which left Su Qingluo a bit she muttered, pouting and mumbling. Stupid, it's only been 10 years and you've already forgotten your fiancé. She let out a playful huff, standing before the mirror to admire herself. Well, I really do look so different now. The chubby little girl from back then has grown into a stunning, and I even changed. No wonder he didn't recognize me. At that moment, the dorm door suddenly, and her roommates rushed in excitedly. They surrounded Su Qing with Lin Baiwei shaking her arm. Qingluo, did you really give milk tea to a freshman at the welcome? Another roommate, Liu Yanran, chimed, come on, Qingluo, spill the beans. Is the post on the campus forum true or not? The last roommate, Zhang Shimeng, looked at her with intense. She was determined to get the juicy details. Su Qingluo felt a bit embarrassed. She wanted to say that the person was her fiancé, but now clearly wasn't the right time. I just made a bet with a club friend, and I lost, so I had to randomly give milk tea. So I just picked that junior randomly. But Su Qingluo wasn't good at lying. She couldn't even look her 3 roommates in. You little liar, one of them teased. Are you still hiding something? Spill the truth already. Do you like that junior? Lin Baiwei placed her hands on her hip, putting on a stern, confess and be lenient expression. Seeing her roommates wouldn't let it go, Su Qingluo played her final card. I really didn't lie to you. The truth is exactly as I said. By the way, it's getting late now. How about I treat you all to dinner at Little Warm Restaurant? Su Qingluo knew her 3 roommates were food, so she deliberately used a dinner invitation. Sure enough, when they heard Su Qingluo would treat them to dinner, their attention shifted. All right then, we'll let it go this time since you're treating us. Su Qingluo breathed a sigh. Meanwhile, you were walking. You had just tested the system's 100x. You went to a nearby convenience store and bought a bottle of cola. Cost, cashback, 300 yuan. As soon as the system's voice, you received a text message on your phone. Your XX bank account has been credited. The excitement made you overjoyed. The 100x cashback feature was real, and there were still 23 hours. You were determined to maximize the 1 million. You rubbed your stomach, realizing it was already past. Aside from the milk tea, you hadn't eaten anything all afternoon. With 100x cashback in, you naturally wanted to eat something. Your gaze fell on Little Warm Restaurant, a high-end establishment. It was the most expensive restaurant near campus. Once seated, you picked up the menu and began ordering from the most expensive. First came 8 king crabs, wagyu beef with an Australian. You pick up the menu and start ordering from the most expensive. First, 8 king crab and wagyu with caviar, Australian lobster, royal fried rice, and a bottle of 82 Lafitte to rinse your mouth. The waitress, noticing you've ordered all the high-priced items, kindly reminds you, you've ordered quite a lot. We advocate the clean plate campaign. No waste is allowed. Dishes and bowls are all brought out. Soon, the dishes you ordered are served one. All the dishes you ordered have been served. Enjoy your meal, said the enthusiastic waitress, standing by to introduce. Since falling into decline 8 years, you haven't eaten such luxurious food again. And life has been very frugal since. Now with so much delicious, you naturally don't hold back. You pick up your chopsticks and start eating. Meanwhile, Su Qingluo and her friends arrive at Xiaomon. The appearance of Zhangcheng University's number immediately attracts the attention of many, especially the boys, who can't take their eyes off her. Their drool almost dripping. Su Qingluo sits down and smiles. Today's my treat. Order whatever you like. The Su family owns Tianhai with businesses across the country worth tens of billions. So Su Qingluo is a classic, rich and beautiful. Money is never an issue for her. With her words, Lin Baiwei and the others start ordering without. After the meal, you step out of the private, a total bill of 7,500. Meanwhile, the system refunds you 700 with 250,000 yuan. You need to spend more to get it. Looking around casually, you spot 4 girls sitting by the window. One of them is the one who gave you milk, the number 1 beauty, Su Qingluo. Still short of a 250,000 yuan refund. Why not use her for it? She did treat me to milk tea this afternoon. I'll return the favor with a meal. Boss, check please. Table 14 by the window. The owner checks the bill. The owner said hello. Table 14 spent a total of 2. You were speechless. Only 2,000. That means there's still 500 yuan. Boss, add a mousse cake. Send it to Su Qingluo at table 14. Since Su Qingluo treated you to milk tea early, you decided to treat her to a meal. This way, no debts remain. Sir, that brings the total to 2,500. After paying the system immediately responded with a note of congratulations, cashback of 200. Just as you stepped out, Su Qingluo finished her meal. She took out her phone to pay, only to receive unexpected news. Miss Su, a young man already paid your bill earlier, and he asked me to give you a mousse cake. Who was that young man? I want to repay him. He just walked out, that handsome guy at the door. The owner pointed. As she approached the door, following the owner's direction, she quickly reached the door. Su Qingluo saw that the man was, in fact, her fiancé. She instinctively confirmed with the owner. Are you sure it was him? The owner nodded. Su Qingluo suddenly got she never expected that it was her fiancé. Never mind, I'll treat him next time. That'll be fair. Su Qingluo's cheeks reddened, suddenly realizing she had a reason to invite her fiancé for a meal. She had been worrying about how to approach him. Now she had the perfect excuse. Hearing this, her 3 roommates were stunned. Su Qingluo, who usually refuses others, actually accepted the young man's gesture. This was a first. Who is that handsome guy? You actually accepted his payment? Lin Baiwei suddenly leaned in. With a face full of surprise, Su Qingluo didn't answer them. Instead, she intentionally ran. It's too late. We need to head back. We still need to prepare for the recruitment event, Su Qingluo said as she quickly ran out. Seeing this, the others finally realized Su Qingluo had no intention of telling them, fine, we won't ask anymore, stop running. But that mousse cake, aren't you going to share it with us? No sharing. It was bought specifically for me. Su Qingluo clutched the mousse cake tightly, running ahead, afraid someone might snap. This is from my fiancé. The first thing he bought me in 10. I'll eat it all by myself. The next morning, you looked at the 1 million yuan balance. With this 1 million yuan, you now had the capital to invest. Maybe you could help your family rise again. As a result, you paid close, determined to learn everything to achieve future success. You had to enrich yourself first. Suddenly, the classroom erupted in chatter. Isn't that Zhangcheng University's school bell? Su, what's she doing in our classroom? As expected of Zhangcheng University's #1, she's absolutely. If I could go on one date with her, I'd be happy for 10 years. Keep dreaming. Even in 100 years, she wouldn't go out with you. With all the commotion, you naturally noticed it too. Standing at the door was Su Qingluo, but you merely glanced at her. In your heart, you already had your fiancé and no interest in other girls. Calmly, you went back to organizing your notes from the This investment class turned out to be highly rewarding. Soon, the bell signaling the end of and the boys rushed out excitedly. In an instant, Su Qingluo was surrounded by the crowd. But the first thing she said was, I'm here to find Zhang Cheng. As soon as she said, everyone was shocked. The school bell is looking for Zhang Cheng. What is going on? Jealous and envious gazes immediately fall on you. You were speechless at the moment. But you stepped forward to meet Su. Senior Su, what brings you here to find me this time? Although frustrated your tone remained polite. Junior, these snacks are for you, Su Qingluo said, handing over a bag of snacks to you. Her eyes glimmering with a hint of This statement shocked everyone on the spot again. The school bell is giving Zhang Cheng snacks again? What on earth is going on? What's so great about Zhang Cheng? That the school bell keeps giving him things twice in a row? The students began taking out their phones to take. This was definitely the biggest news. You were dumbfounded. Senior Su, why are you giving me snacks again? I don't think we even know you. You really didn't want to accept the snack, nor did you want to get involved with the school bell. You just wanted to study quietly and use the 1 million yuan you had to invest? Su Qingluo chuckled and said, not knowing each other, but after 2 or 3 times, this was clearly a soft, but you couldn't refute it. However, I can't accept this. I really can't take the snacks. Otherwise, people will misunderstand. And if this gets to my fiancé, it will be even worse. Seeing you still unwilling to accept, Su Qingluo thought this time, it's to thank you for treating me to and for giving me the cake. That French mousse cake was really delicious. As soon as everyone around dropped their jaws in shock again. Oh my gosh, Zhang Cheng actually treated the school bell to dinner. This guy is something else. One invites to a meal, the other reciprocates with, are they dating? You are slightly surprised, totally unexpected. Su Qingluo actually found he was the one who paid for yesterday's. This is bound to cause a misunderstanding. Originally, you just wanted to get money from him. But now, it seems he misunderstood. Junior, do you not like snacks? Su Qingluo hesitated to accept the snack, thinking you don't like snacks, randomly blinking her big eyes. She continued, then how about I treat you to dinner to repay you for covering my meal last night? This again surprised the onlooking guys. Is this still Zhangcheng University's aloof? Why does she seem not aloof at all in front of Zhang? And you don't want your fiancé to feel wronged again. Just as you were about to refuse, the system's voice appeared again. Perfect Tycoon system mission activate. Accept Su Qingluo's dinner invitation and accept her snacks. Reward 10x investment. Reject Su Qingluo's invitation. Height reduced by 10 centimeters. You cursed inwardly. Helplessly chose the first option again. Accepted Su Qingluo's dinner invitation and accepted her snacks. Senior Su, I really like your snacks. And I'd love to have dinner with you tonight. You pretended to be enthusiastic, but deep inside, you didn't want to agree. Really? Then it's settled. At 6 p.m. I'll wait for you in room 2 at warm rest and take all these snacks. Su Qingluo happily stuffed the bag of snacks into your hands, then smiled and said, see you tonight, Junior. I'm looking forward to seeing you tonight. Ding, mission completed, reward, 10x investment, maximum rebate of 10. Hearing the system's voice snapped you back, and while everyone's attention was on you, when Sue's school beauty turned, you took the chance to slip away. After returning to the door, the first thing you did was close the door. Luckily, you ran fast. Otherwise, you'd have been. After catching your breath, you placed the bag of snacks on the table and checked the reward just received from this. Reading the reward description, you felt a surge of it. Although accepting Su Jinruo's dinner invitation might cause the 10x investment rebate reward, while pondering what to invest in, the dorm door suddenly burst open. 3 roommates rushed in. Zhang Cheng, what's your relation? Why did she treat you to milk tea then? And now she's inviting you to dinner? Zhang Cheng, we're brothers, right? We won't tell anyone. Just spill. Come on, satisfy our curiosity. You were speechless, but could only I really have nothing to do with seeing. Who believes that? The first time it was just milk tea. Fine. But now snacks and a dinner invitation? That doesn't seem like nothing, does it? Fatty Wang Hao spoke with disbelief. I don't buy it either. Unless you swear an oath. Skinny Antelope, faced with their relentless questioning, you felt helpless? Without a satisfying answer, you wouldn't get away. Fine, I swear. I have absolutely never have, never will. If anything happens because of this, may my shrink by. In your heart, you already have Suya, and in this life, you're never to get involved with him. So your oath was heartfelt and sincere. In this lifetime, impossible to have any interactions with others. So your oath was completely sincere. The 3 room, seeing you swore on your manhood, finally believed you for now. All right, you win, we believe you. Fatty Wang Hao nodded and said, meanwhile, after Su Qingluo returned to her door, she started to seriously apply makeup. Normally, Su Qingluo didn't wear makeup, but even barefaced, she was the top school beauty at Tianhai University. The reason she was putting on makeup today was entirely because of tonight's dinner. This was her and her fiancé first meal together in 10 years. Naturally, she wanted to dress up. Little brother, you'll be stunned by me tonight. While brushing her eyelashes, she secretly anticipated. After changing her clothes, Su Qingluo's curvy figure was perfectly accentuated, especially her long legs. Wrapped in white stockings, they were pure. Before heading out, Su Jingruo also changed into new pink high heels. Just as she opened the door, her 3 roommates had just returned from the cafeteria. Seeing the well-dressed Su Qingluo, they were dumbfounded. My gosh, Qingluo, are you going to a beauty pageant today? Lin Baiwei's face was full of surprise. Ye Shimeng and Liu Yanran were also stunned. Normally, Su Qingluo hardly dressed, but today she looked stunning. Qingluo, where are you going? Liu Yanran couldn't help but ask, I'm running out of time. I have to go. Su Qingluo checked her phone. Noticing it was almost 6 o'clock, she didn't care about roommate pleasantry and quickly ran out. In her heart, she was eager to have close to 6 p.m. You also left your dorm, but you hadn't dressed up at all. Your attire was very casual. In your view, having dinner with Su Qingluo was entirely forced by the system. But since you agreed to Su Qingluo, you wouldn't break. After arriving at the Qinglai, a waitress quickly came to assist you. Su Qingluo invited me. It seems to be the VIP room number. I'm here to find him. You stated your purpose. The waitress confirmed your identity. She quickly led you to VIP room number 2. You tried to push the door open. Sure enough, Su Qingluo was already inside. And tonight, she was dressed beautifully. Even more gorgeous than a superstar. You couldn't take your eyes off her. She looked like a fairy descending to earth. Seeing you captivated, Su Qingluo secretly felt a burst of joy, but you quickly regained your composure. Sorry to keep you waiting, Su Shiji. Although Su Qingluo was, you already had a fiancé in your heart, so you only glanced at her briefly. Sit down, Zhang Chen. Order whatever you like. Tonight, it's my treat, Su Qingluo said happily. Her watery eyes had been on you since you entered. It made you feel a little, I'm fine with anything. Let Su Sheiji order instead. You were speechless. Although Su Sheiji was a girl, she gave you that she wanted to overwhelm her. Then have some orange juice first, Su Qingluo said, picking up a bottle of orange juice. But because she was wearing high heels, her walking was a bit She usually never wore high heels. She wore them specially to see you today. Also, the orange juice was specifically ordered by her because she knew you liked orange juice since child. Su Sheiji, let me pour it myself. You didn't want to trouble Su Qingluo to pour your drink. Saying this, you reached for the bottle in her. But Su Qingluo insisted, Junior, let me pour it for you. As she spoke, she tried to grab the bottle from your hand. Unexpectedly, she used too much, and wearing high heels didn't help. She lost her balance, falling straight toward you. You ended up catching Su Qingluo in your arms, but the momentum caused you to fall backward and Su Qingluo fell right on top of you. Dazed from the fall, you suddenly felt a soft, sweet sensation on your. Su Qingluo felt it too. When the two of you opened your eye, you were both stunned. The situation was extremely ambiguous. Your mind went blank. Oh no, your first kiss was taken just like that, by your senior. How would you explain this to your fiancé, Su Yao? Meanwhile, Su Qingluo secretly felt a bit of joy. Oh my god, I kissed my future, and this was my first kiss. I wish it could last longer. It turns out kissing really is addictive. Su Qingluo's face turned crimson red, and her heart raced, yet she showed no intention of getting up. She even wanted the kiss to last. Once you came to you pushed Su Qingluo away. Then you quickly wiped your lips with your hand, feeling annoyed. But as a gentleman, you first checked if Su Qingluo was okay. Senior, are you all right? I'm fine. I'm so sorry about earlier. I couldn't hold on to the drink proper. Su Qingluo apologized, but she secretly felt a little, if only the kiss had lasted long. As she spoke, Su Qingluo was still, the sweet, warm sensation made her a little infatuated, lost in her thoughts. Her face turned, and she couldn't help but blush deeply. She even forgot that the orange juice had spilled all over her legs. Fortunately, you noticed and immediately pointed it out to her. Orange juice spilled. Let me wipe it for you. You quickly grabbed some tissues from the table and instinctively bent down to help wipe Su Qingluo's thigh. Su Qingluo realized what was happening. Seeing you wiping her thighs with tissues, she froze for a moment. Her face turned an even deep. No man had ever touched her thighs before, and now you were wiping them back and forth. Surprisingly, she didn't dislike. In fact, she felt it wasn't a big deal, but when you realized what you were doing, you felt awkward and embarrassed. Senior, I didn't mean to take advantage of you. I just wanted to wipe the juice off your thighs. It's okay. If it's not clean, I'll just take it off and wash it later. As she spoke, she started to take off her. This startled you. Senior, I'm going to the restroom. You can take it off after I leave. With that, you fled the private room in panic. Watching you run away like that, Su Qingluo burst into laughter. This silly junior is so cute. She smiled, and as she laughed, her thoughts back to the earlier kiss. Meanwhile, you reach the rest, your heart still pounding wildly. Su Qingluo is such a femme fatale. Not only is she breathtakingly beautiful, but she also dresses so alluring. How could any man resist her? Especially when I'm just a normal, hot-blooded guy. What frustrated you was that your 20-year-old first kiss. No, that was an accident. It doesn't count as a. My first kiss is still in. You tried to comfort yourself, then you splashed cold water on your face to calm yourself down. After about 10 minutes, you calmed down and returned to VIP room number 2. Su Qingluo had already removed the white stockings stained with orange. She was quietly sitting, her snow-white slender legs fully exposed to the air. And she was wearing an ultra-short skirt. But you didn't look. Your heart already belonged to Su, so you naturally avoided looking at. Zhangcheng, you're back, she said warmly. I've ordered a few dishes. See if you like them. You glanced at the table out of habit. Braised pork, mashed potatoes, and more. All your favorite dishes. Senior, let's just eat quickly. After this, let's not stay in touch. You were genuinely. After sitting down, you grabbed the chops and began eating. You didn't want to have any connection with. This was interfering with your time for investments. You wanted this meal to end quickly. Su Qingluo, however, didn't eat hastily. Instead, she ate elegantly, taking small bites. As she ate, her gentle, watery eyes were fixed on you. My silly junior looks so. She thought to herself. The meal dragged on for nearly an hour, mainly because Su Qingluo ate so slowly. After finishing the meal, you let out a burp, then glanced at Su Qingluo, who was still. Senior, you said, since we've finished eating. Hearing your words, Su Qingluo snapped out of her daze. Finished already? Have some more. I'll order more. She wanted to spend. She couldn't bear to part with her future husband. Su Qingluo was thinking of spending more time. He just couldn't bear to part so quickly from his. But you don't seem to want to stay with Su Qingluo any. Sister Su, I'm full. Let's head back, you urged. All right, but you'll have to walk, Su Qingluo said with a touch of coquettish. No problem, let's go quickly. You didn't hesitate and nodded immediately. The request wasn't, and you were eager to share, so you agreed without a. After leaving the private room, there were still many people dining, and when Su Qingluo walked out, many guests in the restaurant almost immediately. You deliberately kept a bit of distance to avoid any misunderstanding, but Su Qingluo intentionally leaned, almost linking arms with you. Back at the dormitory, Su Qingluo's 3 roommates their expressions were Come on, spill it. Who did you have dinner with dressed so beautifully tonight? Lin Baiwei was the first to ask. Nobody special. Su Jinro shook his head, answering a bit. Someone already posted pictures on the campus forum. And you still won't admit it? Lin Baiwei said, the evidence is overwhelming. What else do you have to say? Su Jinro didn't expect that their photos with Zhang Cheng would be posted online. Just as he was about to confirm, Liu Yanran said, Qingluo, I saw you leave with them on. Did something happen during? Lin Baiwei exclaimed in shock. Such a bold statement left Su Qingluo blushing. Qingluo, were you wearing white? I saw you leave wearing them. You didn't get into something during? Lin Baiwei's such audacious words left Su Qingluo's face bright. Ye Shimeng and Lu Yanran, hearing this, were immediately filled with They widened their eyes and looked at Su Qingluo, waiting expectantly for his response. How is that possible? My white stock, so I took them off. Su Qingluo quickly explained. To prove his innocence, he even pulled out the orange white stockings from his bag. See? The stockings are I'm not lying. This did prove, but as he said it, his face couldn't help but blush. Seeing the stockings remind of Zhang Cheng wiping his thigh with a tissue earlier. So that's how it is. But why is your face so red? And I think I can smell a man. Also, Lin Baiwei teased with a mischievous smile. Hearing this, Su Qingluo afraid they might discover something. I'm a bit tired. I'm going to take a shower. Su Qingluo hastily, his face flushed, and ran to, darn you, it's all your fault. Su Qingluo muttered, hiding, but thinking about how his first kiss went, he suddenly felt it was worth it. Still, the fact that left Su Qingluo a bit disappointed. It seems tomorrow he'll need to give, and this time a more obvious one. Otherwise, he won't guess. What a big dummy of a husband. At the club recruitment square, the painting club's booth had there were at least 100 new students signing up, but most of them were male. Clearly, these guys had seeing this as the club president. Su Qingluo decided to modify impure motive. As the president, Su Qingluo saw this situation and immediately modified the club's entry. Dear freshmen, our painting club has new recruitment requirements. We are now only accepting female, and applicants must have at least a level 5. If you don't meet these criteria, please feel free to leave. These words immediately caused a stir among the crowd. Many male students looked utterly disappointed. As the crowd began to disperse, Su Qingluo suddenly spotted among the crowd. Her face lit up with a mysterious, and she grabbed a painting club flyer. She jogged over. Junior, are you signing up for our painting? As she spoke, she handed the flyer to you. Her large, watery eyes were filled with eager anticipation. Everyone around was stunned. What's going on? Sue, the campus, is personally inviting a male junior to join. Didn't she just say no guys allowed? Why is she now recruiting a freshman? And it's a male student. No, you are also confused. What's going on? You didn't even apply. Yet this senior's pest. Junior, join our painting club. You don't even need to go through an interview. Plus, we have great benefits, Su Qingluo added, looking slightly anxious when you didn't respond. Coming to your senses, you felt awkward and said, sorry, senior, I can't paint, and I'm male, so I don't meet your recruitment criteria. You politely declined Su Qingluo's invitation. She didn't expect you to refuse her. Since arriving at Tianhai University, this was her first rejection. Still, Su Qingluo didn't get angry. After all, you are her future husband. Junior, wait here for a moment. With that, she quickly turned and walked away. She erased the 2 recruitment listed on the whiteboard using the board eraser. Everyone looked on in confusion. Why erase the conditions? But they quickly found out. Su Qingluo returned to you again and sweetly invited you once more. All right, our painting club now has no requirement. Can you agree to join our painting club now? These words left everyone present stunned again. You still didn't want to join you had no interest in painting. Moreover, you didn't want any involvement with Su Qingluo. As you were thinking of how to decline again, the system's voice sounded in your mind again. The perfect tycoon system has triggered a new Option 1, agree to join the painting club with reward, master level paintings, earn 10x profit from selling paint. Option 2, reject Su Qingluo's invitation. Reward, increase certain dimensions by 50. Seeing the 2 rewards, that ridiculous system was forcing you to choose. Though this time, option 2 didn't reduce anything by adding 50 centimeters seemed equally useless. Finally, you reluctantly accepted Su Qingluo. Senior, since you're so sincere, I guess I'll reluctantly agree to join your painting club. Hearing your agreement, Su Qingluo's face lit up with joy. Really? You're joining our painting club? Su Qingluo couldn't believe it and asked, yes, I'll join your painting club. You nodded, but inwardly sighed quietly. Since you've agreed to join our painting club, please fill out this form, Su Qingluo sweetly said, as she handed you a form. All right, you reluctantly took the form, then casually picked up a pen. Under the envious and jealous gazes, you began filling out the Su Qingluo sat across from you, propping her chin with both, staring at you intently, thinking that soon you'll be a member of her club, and she can see you every day. She couldn't help feeling delight. Little brother, you won't escape my grasp anymore. Su Qingluo secretly rejoiced. Afterward, she eagerly handed you a bottle of water. Zhang Cheng, are you thirsty? This is Nongfu Spring. Have a sip? Everyone was once again surprised to see this. Since when did the cool school flower become so? In the past, it was always the boys, bringing drinks or milk tea to curry favor. But today, it was Su Qingluo offering bottled water to please you, and you didn't seem very willing to accept it. Just put it down. I'll drink it later. By the way, do I need to fill in this WeChat ID? You frowned and asked. Of course you do. Su Qingluo thought to herself that she would secretly add your WeChat later. All right, you said helpless, but still filled it in, truthfully. After finishing, you handed the form to Su Qingluo. Senior Su, I've completed it. If there's nothing else, I'll leave now. All right, by the way, Junior, the art club's first activity is tomorrow at noon. Don't forget to come to the art gallery on time. Su Qingluo reminded you eagerly. Got it, I'll come if I'm free. After saying that, you left impatiently. Everyone around went crazy seeing this. What's with Zhang Cheng's attitude? How dare he treat Su Qingluo so indifferent? Is he asking for trouble? After their attention turned to the art club, because Su Qingluo had just, their art club didn't have any, so everyone was eager to give it a try. I want to sign up. Soon, someone rushed to the art club's recruitment booth and grabbed a form to fill in their details. As one person rushed forward, others followed suit. Everyone wanted to seize the opportunity but unexpected, Su Qingluo turned to them and said, "Sorry everyone, from now on, our art club has new recruitment conditions. You must be female and have a drawing level of 5 or above, or equivalent skills." Her words once again stunned everyone present. Didn't she just recruit a guy earlier? And he even said he couldn't draw. Lin Baiwei couldn't hold back. She approached Su Qingluo and whispered a reminder. Isn't this too obvious? People will gossip about it. I don't care, let them talk. Su Qingluo happily held your information for. She didn't care about, and in her heart, it was only you. You alone could enter her world unconditionally. Late at night, when the world was quiet, Su Qingluo lay in bed, tossing and turning. She couldn't fall asleep. Just think about how she'd have the chance to see you made her heart swell with joy. She quietly took out your club member information form. Wonder if my little brother is asleep yet? It's only 8 p.m. He probably is. Maybe I should add him on WeChat and Su Qingluo thought sweetly. She took out her phone, and using the WeChat ID from the form, she sent a friend request. But after the request was sent, there was no response from your side. Why hasn't he accepted my friend request? Su Qingluo wrinkled her delicate. Holding her pink phone, she anxiously waited, wondering what to talk about later. Or maybe she could hint at something, letting you realize that she is your fiancé. However, after waiting for nearly an hour, there was, why hasn't he added me yet? Did I enter the wrong number? Let me try adding him again. Unwilling to give up, but after waiting for a long time, there was still no. Maybe he doesn't have his phone with him. Su Qingluo sighed and tried to console, but little did she know, you had already seen her friend request. You just chose to ignore it. You really didn't want any further entanglement. You were tired of dealing with the school forum was filled every blowing kisses, gifting milk tea, having meals together, and now today's special invitation. If your fiancé Su Yao found out, she might get jealous. Just thinking about it annoyed you. With a sigh, you tossed your phone aside and slowly drifted off to sleep. The next afternoon, in the art studio of the school's gallery, most club members hadn't. Inside stood a tall, he was dashing and refined. He was Lin Wenwei, the vice president of the art, a third-year fine arts. Lin Wenwei had already passed the level with his professional level drawing skills, joining an amateur art. But Lin Wenwei joined and became an art club instructor soon. The art club members began trickling in. Most of them were girls. When they saw the senior Lin Wenwei had arrived, they flocked to him like starstruck fans. Soon, the art club members started coming in one after. Most of them were girls. When they saw Lin Wenwei, the senior, they swarmed around him like fangirls. A group of girls was enthusiastically flattering. It was like a pack of fawning admirers. However, Lin Wenwei only half-heartedly entertained until a stunning figure appeared at the doorway. Lin Wenwei eagerly pushed through the crowd and walked. Qingluo, you're here. It's been a whole How have you been? Lin Wenwei asked, his eagerness plain as day. Summer was fine? Su Qingluo replied simply, but her beautiful eyes were scanning the room for someone. Su Qingluo was looking for. She wanted to ask why you didn't accept last night, leaving her waiting for. She even ended up with dark circles, seeing Su Qingluo searching for someone. Lin Wenwei couldn't help but ask curiously, who are you looking for? No one? Su Qingluo shook her. From start to finish, she hadn't even, but Lin Wenwei was unwilling to give. He had joined the art club just to pursue Su Qingluo. After chasing her for he hadn't even gotten her contact info. Qingluo, we've known each other for almost a year. Can I add you on WeChat so we can stay in touch? Lin Wenwei asked, trying. No thanks. I usually don't add. Su Qingluo smiled sweetly, rejecting him once again. At that moment, you walked in from out. Seeing you, Su Qingluo's eyes lit up slightly. She strode toward you, her long legs moving quickly. Zhang Cheng, why are you so late? Last night I sent you a Why didn't you accept it? Well, Senior Sue. Why didn't you approve me? That's Senior Sue. I usually don't add people. You scratched your head awkwardly. Little brother, am I an ordinary person? I am your. In a moment of urgency, Su Qingruo almost revealed the truth. Fortunately, she quickly changed her. I am your club president. Last night, I waited the whole for your friend request approval. I even woke up with dark circles, Su Qingruo said angrily. Standing at the door and hearing, Lin Baiwei felt extremely confused. Her expression also turned. Senior Sue, I really don't add people. Randomly on WeChat, you said nervously. But today, Su Qingruo was determined to add your WeChat. However, she couldn't blatantly ask for your approval. After all, as a girl, she needed to be reserved. So Su Qingruo found an excuse and said, if I don't add your, how will I contact you? How will I reach you for club activities? So this WeChat is a must. I already have all the other members. Now I'm just missing yours. To add you, Su Qingruo didn't even blush while lying. In reality, regarding she only had the WeChats of a few females. She hadn't added any of the male members. Lin Baiwei, who had come along with Su, was taken aback. She silently sighed. Such a simple girl as Su Qingruo, to add Zhang Cheng's WeChat, even lied without batting an eye. This completely overturned Lin Baiwei's understanding of her. Since that's the case, all right, she said, you've made your point. You had no choice but to. Now that's more like it. I'll watch you add me. Hearing your agreement, Su Qingruo secretly. Xuanyi's face was full of joy. Then she saw you take out your phone. You unlocked the. Su Qingruo kept her eyes on your phone, afraid that you might. However, when she saw your phone wallpaper, a photo of her as a chubby little girl she was slightly surprised. Xuanyi felt deeply touched. Oh my, the wallpaper on his phone is a picture of me as a kid. So he really values me. Every time he opens his phone, he sees me. At this moment, Su Qingruo completely forgot. This small wallpaper moved her deeply, almost to tears. She was so touched, she almost cried. Senior Sue, I've approved your friend request. Can you let me go now? You looked helplessly at Su Qing. Unexpectedly, she looked at you with a face full of emotion. I didn't expect you to value me so much. Su Qingruo subconsciously blurted out her true feelings. However, hearing this, you felt indifferent, sighing quietly to yourself. It's just approving a friend request. Does it really warrant this much? Lin Baiwei, watching from the side, her mouth was agape in surprise. Why does Su Qingruo look more and more like a simp? He just approved her friend request, and she's moved to tears. She's practically the queen of simps now. It seems like her cool goddess persona is. Lin Wenwei felt even more. Zhang Cheng, that kid, completely captured Su Qingruo's attention. It seems like in her eyes, there's only no one else. Damn it. This guy can't stay in our art club anymore. He has to be kicked out. Thinking this, Lin Wenwei suddenly stepped forward. Zhang Cheng, you're a new member this year, right? Lin Wenwei pretended to ask politely. I heard you were specially invited by June. Is that true? Yes, why? You felt that Lin Wenwei seemed to have Oh, nothing. Lin Wenwei shrugged casually. We are an art club, and we usually only accept people. I heard you don't know how to draw. Is that if you can't draw, you might not fit in. It's probably better for you to. That suits you better, he suggested. Lin Wenwei's words were very clear. He obviously wanted to drive you away, and he wasn't being subtle. Su Qingruo got a bit angry. You were personally invited by her, and now Lin Wenwei wanted to kick you. How could she, as the club president, tolerate Senior Lin? Zhang Cheng, but he can learn, Su Qingruo argued. Who knows how to draw right from. She didn't back down. Is that so? But the techniques we teach here are quite challenging. We can't slow down the of everyone else for just one person. Lin Wenwei glanced at the other members. Many of them were girls who admired him. Hearing his words, they all chimed in agreement. Seeing this, Su Qingruo she was about to speak up for you, but you stepped forward yourself. I said yesterday that I couldn't draw, but that doesn't mean I can't draw today, you said with a slight smile. Although you didn't particularly like the art since you joined, you couldn't quit at the very least. Lin Wenwei was taken aback. Yesterday you said you could, and today you suddenly can. You'll say anything to stay here, won't you? He sneered at you. You're really shameless, aren't you? Lin Wenwei mocked you disdain. Suddenly you can draw today? You'll say anything to. You're really daring with your big claims. Lin Wenwei glanced at you disdainfully. He mocked, all right, if you claim you can draw now, then draw something for us. If we're not satisfied with your, then you'll have to leave the art club. It was clear that Lin Wenwei was. Su Qingruo hurriedly interrupted. Zhang Cheng, don't agree to him. I'm the president. I have the final say. No one can make you leave. But you didn't listen to her. You looked directly at Lin and said, no problem. I accept. If my drawing isn't better, then I'll leave voluntarily. You wanted to test your master-level drawing skill to see how your work would turn, and maybe have Su Qingruo help you appraise its. This would be useful for future. Lin Wenwei couldn't hide his. When you agreed. This foolish boy thinks he can outdraw me? What a pipe dream. Go ahead, take my spot. Paints, brushes, easels, and paper. It's all here. It's all ready for you, Lin Wenwei said impatiently. He couldn't wait to see you embarrass yourself. Su Qingruo, feeling anxious, trying to persuade you. Zhang Cheng, don't do it now. Or wait a few days to draw. I can train you first. You didn't reply. You calmly sat down in the seat and casually picked up a brush. You twirled it in your hand. So this is how long these brushes. It was your first time holding professional brushes. You glanced at the paints, realizing there were over 30 types. Get started already. What are you looking at? Have you never seen such professional equipment before? Lin Wenwei taunted. Why so rushed? I need to think about what to draw. You shot him a glance, thinking about what to draw, and everyone sees you hesitating to. They all think you're deliberately stalling for. Lin Wenwei even smirks smugly. He thinks it's a sign that you can't draw. Only Su Qingluo is secretly anxious. Her small hands are even sweating nervously. Soon you decide what to draw. You grip the brush tight, adjust the paint, and start drawing. Although you have master-level painting, it's your first time painting, and you're still a bit unfamiliar with the tools. But it doesn't hinder your. As for Lin Mei and the others, seeing you're unfamiliar, they become more convinced you can't. Su Qingluo becomes even more nervous but in his heart, he makes up his mind. He'll keep you around. If necessary, he'll teach you to draw him. Su Qingluo is even seeing you every day in the studio. You become more adept with the brush in your hand. You start to look somewhat like a painter. However, the content on is truly unbearable. Others have no idea what you're drawing. It looks like random scribbles. What is he drawing? I have no idea what it's supposed to be. Yeah, I can't tell either. It looks like he's randomly drawing instruments. As expected, he can't draw. What kind of garbage is this? Lin Wenwei hears the people around. He secretly feels delighted. This idiot really can't draw. It seems he can easily kick Zhang Cheng out. As long as Zhang Cheng is out, he'll have another chance to pursue Su Qingluo. Even Lin Baiwei can't stand watching anymore. Qingluo, what is Zhang Cheng drawing? I can't make it out at all. Could it be abstract art? Maybe. But he's not finished yet. No one knows the final result. Su Qingluo can only comfort himself, but he's becoming more and more desperate inside. Soon, you stopped what you were doing. Then you set the paint palette aside. Clapping your hands, you said, "It's done." As soon as you said that, Lin Wenwei was the first to burst out laughing. Is this what you call a painting? What kind of garbage is this? With this level of skill, you dare to shameless, aren't you? I suggest you leave on your own. Even the other members, your painting to be so terrible. Being in the same studio as such garbage, they felt it insulted the art society. Although, out of respect for President, they didn't say it, their facial expressions revealed their thoughts. Seeing this, you only smiled slightly, full of confidence. Oh, I almost forgot something. Saying this, you flipped the canvas over. Everyone was still confused, but as soon as it was a lifelike image appeared. The painting depicted a slightly chubby, adorable little girl squatting on the carefully holding an injured bird. The little girl was drawn vividly, her expression of concern incredibly lifelike. The details were exceptionally well executed. Everyone was stunned by the reverse and amazed by your miraculous skill. They were also deeply moved by the Even Lin Baiwei was dumbfounded, his jaw dropping in astonishment. He never expected Zhang Cheng's skills to be this. Even painting upside down, the attention to detail, the handling of light and shadow, it was flawless. Your skill surpassed even the art department. Lin Baiwei secretly, his gaze toward you changed entirely. Su Qingluo was also left speechless, not only shocked by your unmatched painting, but also deeply moved by the content. The little girl in the painting was Su Qingluo himself, a bit chubby, but very adorable. The injured sparrow in her hand. It was the sparrow he found in your. He held it sadly, wanting to heal it. He never expected that you would remember that. Not only did you remember it for 10, but you also perfectly. It showed just how important this chubby was in your heart. Thinking of this, Su Qingluo felt she wished she could throw herself into your and shower you with affection. She wanted to pamper her dear. The person most shaken by this scene was probably Lin Wenwei. How is this possible? This guy, how could he produce such a perfect paint? And he painted it upside down? Lin Wenwei staggered, unable to accept the outcome. The technique and style of the paint surpassed even the art, Lin Wenwei included. Seeing everyone astonished, you felt deeply satisfied. Turning to Lin Wenwei, you said, "Senior Lin, what do you think of this painting now? Can I stay here?" Su Qingluo was thrilled. Proudly, she said to Lin Wenwei, "Senior Lin?" Now Zhang Cheng. Lin Wenwei was furious, but he reluctantly said, "Fine." However, he angrily added, "But I'm not, so I won't be teaching painting. I'm leaving now." After saying this, Lin Wenwei packed his things. The other studio members were too focused on you to pay any attention to Lin Wenwei's departure. Not a single person. This only made him angrier as he left. No one cared anymore. Lin Wenwei left in anger without anyone. He was so furious. He slammed the door heavily and disappeared. The art society members surrounded you immediately, asking all kinds of questions. Zhang Cheng, Jr., when did you start learning to paint? How can you paint so well upside down? Yeah. Junior, can you teach me how to paint upside down? Zhang Cheng, Jr., how about having dinner together tonight? You can teach me how to paint. Most of the art society members were, so being surrounded by so many girls, you felt a bit embarrassed. Su Qingluo saw you surrounded by girls and pouted with a jealous expression. She spoke up to everyone. All right, everyone, stop asking. Junior must be, he's been painting for over an hour. Let's not bother him anymore. Saying this, Su Qingluo pulled you to her side. After all, you were her husband, and she didn't want other girls getting too close to. Only then did everyone turn their attention to Su Qing. Lin Baiwei also glanced over. As if remembering something, she said, Qingluo, you really have good eyes. You recruited Zhang Ch into the art society specifically. Did you know from the start that he's this good at painting? Hearing this, the other members also looked enlightened. President, you're amazing. You have such a good eye. You brought such a talented junior into. Not only is he handsome, but he's also great at painting. The members all praised you enthusiastically. Su Qingluo felt slightly embarrassed. She hadn't expected things to turn out this, but she happily took the credit anyway. Of course, I already knew our junior was amazing at painting. Otherwise, why would I rush into our society? Su Qingluo shamelessly lied without blushing, even taking extra credit for. You watch silently. Only you know that Su Qingluo is lying, but you feel there's no need to expose. So that's how it is. Yesterday, I thought you brought him into the art club. Now it seems that wasn't the case. A cute female member suddenly spoke up. How could I like Junior Zhang? I simply think he's a. That's why I was eager to recruit him. Please don't misunderstand. Su Qingluo explained somewhat. Lin Baiwei secretly. Qingluo, yesterday, I really thought you had feelings for Zhang Cheng. Since you don't, that's good. There's no such thing. You're overthinking it. Su Qingluo continued, nervous, but her gaze occasionally fell on you. Since the president doesn't like Zhang Cheng, that's great. The cute female member blushed. Junior Zhang Cheng, can I add you on WeChat? I have a lot of questions about drawing to ask. As soon as she said that, other female members also. I want to add Junior Zhang Cheng too. Let's add each other. Junior, are you single? Let's add each other on WeChat. Su Qingluo was once again, right now, you're just too popular. Su Qingluo silently sulked. She even started regretting recruiting. Fortunately, you refused them. Sorry, everyone. I can't add anyone on WeChat right. Maybe next time. Seeing this, Su Qingluo secretly breathed a sigh. That annoying brother didn't disappoint her. After the art club act, everyone gradually left. You, however, called out, Senior Su, can I ask you something? That annoying little brother really didn't. After the art club activity, everyone gradually left, but you stopped Su Qingluo. Senior Su, can I ask you something? You wanted to ask her about the art market. Time was running out. You needed to use the 10x profit item. What is it, Junior? Su Qingluo was worrying about. She didn't expect you to approach her first. I wanted to ask about the art market. Do you know much about it? You asked instinctively. Yes, I know. Of course I do. Are you planning to buy? Su Qingluo nodded vigorously, as you two talked. Most of the people in the art club had. Lin Baiwei had planned to leave but was turned down by her. Baiwei, you go ahead. Junior has something to. As the president, I'm obligated. Su Qingluo put on a righteous. She lied without batting an eye. All right then, I'll head back first. Lin Baiwei didn't think much of it. Soon, the art club was empty, alone in the same room, just the two of you. This was exactly what Su Qingluo had hoped for. Su Qingluo deliberately went that way. No one would know what happened in. Junior, everyone's gone now. You can ask away. Su Qingluo looked at you warm. I want to ask how much my recent painting is. You said this? And took out the painting you. This time, Su Qingluo, she seriously examined the painting again. I have to. The quality of this painting is using her professional eye, Su Qingluo ignoring the details and light effect. If sold in the art market, this painting would be worth at least. Continue explaining. Apart from the skills of art, every detail in the painting, the treatment of light and shadow are. If it were sold in the art market, it would be worth at. If it were in an auction house, the price might be slightly high, but it wouldn't exceed 3. Hearing this, you frowned slightly because it was far from the expected price. After all, you are now a master painter. Is this all the value of master-level skills? Is this all it's worth? It's just that you are not yet famous. As a newcomer, selling at such a high price is already very rare. Su Qingluo paused, thought for a moment, and continued. You can understand Su Qingluo's words. Whether the painting can sell for a high indeed depends largely on the artist's reputation. It seems you need to improve your fame in the art world. Slightly distressed, but selling for tens of thousands, at least with a 10x, it can reach 1 or 2 million. That's pretty good. The 10x return period is only 3 days. I need to hurry and paint a few more to turn them into cash. Thinking of this, you turned to Su Qingluo and said, Senior Su, can I use your tools to paint? No problem. Su Qingluo readily gave up her seat, then curiously asked Zhang Cheng, It's so late, and you're still going to paint? I need to paint more. To create grand painting. Saying this, you couldn't wait to sit in Su. Are you going to sell your? Su Qingluo asked in surprise. Yes, you nodded. Hearing this, Su Qingluo's Xuanji timidly said, Zhang Cheng, can you sell me that painting of? Su Qingluo really liked that paint, not only because it was well painted, but also because of the little girl in the painting. Not only because you painted it, but also because the is actually her younger son. It's a beautiful memory. I don't want to sell that painting. You firmly refused her. Why don't you want to sell it? Didn't you just say you wanted to sell painting? Selling it to me is, I'll pay 200,000 for that. Su Qingluo said generously. That painting contains someone, you said seriously. When Su Qingluo heard that it was someone most important to you, she was so moved that it turns out Zhang Cheng both saw each other as the most important person. However, in the next, your words brought her back to reality, so you'll have to pay more. When Su Qingluo heard you say she had to pay, she was stunned for a moment, but quickly came back to her sense. No problem. I'll add another a total of 400,000. Su Qingluo said decisively. You glanced at Su Qingluo and then nodded. All right, you have a good eye. Treat this painting as it might appreciate in value. You're getting a great deal. I think so too. I believe you'll become a famous artist. And Su Qingluo said admiringly. You rolled up the paint and handed it to Su Qingluo. Take good care of it. This is someone most important. All right, I'll take good care of it. Give me your account number. I'll transfer the money to you. As Su Qingluo spoke, she carefully stored the painting. This is a painting by my little brother and about him too. How could I not preserve it well? Soon, your phone received a notification of a 400,000 deposit. The system's voice also sounded. Ding. Congratulations to the host for selling and earning a rebate. Thank you, Senior Su. I've received the money. After thanking her, you added, by the way, Senior, are you free tomorrow? I want you to take me to sell my... I'm not familiar with the market. Free? Of course I'm free. Tomorrow, I'll take you to the biggest studio. I know one of the managers there. I'll help you display your paintings. Su Qingluo said with a bright smile. She was more than happy to spend time with you. How could she refuse your request? Thank you so much, Senior Su. I'll treat you to a meal then. You said gratefully. After saying this, you decided to quickly paint a few more pieces. Su Qingluo looked at your handsome profile, hesitated for and timidly asked Junior, Can I ask about the little girl in the painting? You said she's the most important. Who is she to you? Hearing this, you instinctively put down and seriously said to Su Qingluo, She's the person I'll marry. And the next day was Saturday. You woke up early. Today was the last day for the 10x painting. You had to sell the 3 paintings you created last night. Only then could you receive the 10. At this moment, you received a message from Su. Little brother, time to get up. Today we're going to... You didn't expect Su Qingluo to remember that. You quickly replied, I'm already up. Senior, what do you want to eat? I'll bring it. After all, you needed Su Qingluo's help, so you thought you should treat her well. That way, she'd be more enthusiastic when I want egg pancakes and the soy milk should be and with scallions. Su Qingluo quickly replied, this breakfast was her favorite since childhood. The reason she was so detailed, she also seemed to want, but you didn't think much about it, and headed straight out of the dorm toward the soon. Su Qingluo appeared in a stunning black silk outfit, walking gracefully. You couldn't help but glance. Her charm was simply over. She looked like a goddess. Fortunately, it was Saturday, and still early. Most people were still asleep at this time. Otherwise, her presence at the school gate might have caused a little brother, what are you looking at? Su Qingluo noticed your gaze and felt a slight satisfaction and joy. Nothing, Senior Su. Here's your breakfast. You quickly came back to your senses and handed the breakfast to her. Your heart already belonged to your fiancé. So no matter how beautiful Su Qingluo was, thank you, Su Qingluo said. Taking the breakfast, she stole a glance at you and noticed you weren't feeling a bit disappointed. She had dressed up, but her little brother, what a blockhead. After you instructed the driver to head to the largest art studio there. You intentionally, but Su Qingluo deliberately leaned closer to you. The faint scent of her perfume wafted toward. It smelled wonderful and intoxicating. Coupled with her stunning looks, any man would be mesmerized. Even the driver couldn't resist glancing at Su Qingluo in the rearview mirror from today. Su Qingluo was simply breathtaking. Everyone would want to steal a glance. Except you, sitting right beside you seemed completely indifferent. Your focus remained on the 3 paintings you created thinking about how to sell them for the thinking about how to sell the 3 paintings for us. Seeing this, Su Qingluo was slightly annoyed. What a blockhead. A beautiful woman is sitting right next, and all he can think about, he doesn't even glance at. Just then, a child suddenly darted out onto the road ahead. The driver was startled. To avoid the child, he made a sharp turn. The car swerved abruptly, and Su Qingluo had no time to react. Her frail body, propelled by was thrown directly onto you, sitting beside her. The soft fragrance and warmth spread through you. Any other man might have lost control in this situation, but your mind remained clear. You immediately helped steady Su Qingluo. Senior Su, are you okay? I'm fine. It's just that I twisted my wrist a bit when I fell. Su Qingluo stayed in your the warmth of your arms made her feel a little brother's embrace is so warm. Her cheeks flushed slightly. Let me massage it, you said instinctively. If it were another man, Su Qingluo would have refused. But when you said it, she couldn't bring herself to refuse. With her face slightly flushed, then get off me first, you said, and Su Qingluo realized she was still lying on top of you. You gently grabbed her and began to massage it light. As you massaged her wrist, Su Qingluo felt a tingling sensation, a strange feeling. That made her feel intoxicated. A faint blush spread across Su Qingluo's pretty face. Looking at your handsome and your focused eyes, at that moment, she was complete. Little brother looked so handsome. At that moment, she was completely. Little brother looked so handsome when he. Su Qingluo couldn't help but feel infatuated, and she couldn't pull herself. If the students at Tianhai saw their aloof goddess fawning over you like that, they would definitely lose their. The driver saw everything and couldn't. Miss, your boyfriend treats you. Hearing this, Su Qingluo's face instantly turned bright. Her heart filled with both embarrassment, but you quickly explained, actually, we're not. Before you could finish, the car arrived at your destination. Zhangcheng, let's get out. You sighed and took out your phone to pay the fare. Seeing this, Su Qingluo smiled slightly. But secretly, she wished she could stay in her little brother's arms forever. But she wasn't in a rush. The engagement date was by the end of the year. Finally, be with her little brother. Su Qingluo led you into the art gallery, although it was only 9 a.m. There were already many people. She was slightly surprised. So many people at the gallery that she said, furrowing her brows slightly in curiosity. Could it be a master painter here to demonstrate today? She wanted. Zhangcheng, let's go in and take a look. After entering, you found the gallery. The walls were covered with various domestic and inner, including many pieces from renowned masters. Each painting looked exquisitely crafted. Aside from the artwork, the central hall featured a large circular stage. At the moment, we're standing on the stage, painting live. You didn't recognize the 2 master painters, but they were surrounded by a crowd of art enthusiasts. Judging by their eager expressions, these 2 painters must be quite famous. Su Qingluo saw these 2 painters, and her eyes showed a hint of excitement. They are actually top painters from Teacher Qin Yuan and Teacher Zhou. Both of them are renowned painters in Tianhai. Are these 2 painters very famous? Seeing Su Qingluo's excitement, you couldn't help but ask. Of course, both of them are top-level painters in Tianhai. Even nationwide, they would rank among the top 30 painters. Su Qingluo introduced excitedly again. Really? Your gaze turned to the 2 painters on the stage, thinking to yourself, if I could outshine them, wouldn't my reputation rise significantly? A familiar voice interrupted, you and Su Qingluo. Did you come to the art gallery for the painting duel? Hearing this voice, both you and Su Qingluo instinctively your heads to look. It was only then that you realized the speaker. Senior Lin, you're here too? Su Qingluo greeted politely. Lin Wenwei habitually glanced at the stage. He was used to Su Qingluo's indifference, so he didn't mind. But today, Su Qingluo's outfit made a spark flash in his eyes. Lin Wenwei couldn't take his eyes off her. Qingluo, you look so beautiful today. The master on stage, Master Qingyuan, is I heard you like painting. How about after the painting duel, I introduce you to him? With my introduction, my mentor would surely take you as. Hearing this, Su Qingluo suddenly remembered. Lin Wenwei's mentor was indeed Master Qingyuan. If she could become Master Qingyuan's, her painting skills would surely improve rapidly. Really? Su Qingluo seemed a little tempted. Of course it's true. Lin Wenwei saw that Su Qingluo was he felt a surge of as long as he got Su Qingluo to study their relationship would become that of senior, and not only would their connection, but he would also have more opportunities to get. Moreover, Su Qingluo would certainly feel grateful to him, but wouldn't the opportunity present? It must be said, Lin Wenwei's plan was quite clever. At this point, you couldn't help but ask, is your mentor Master Qingyuan? Of course, my mentor, Qingyuan, is one of the top painters in Tianhai's art scene. Even nationwide, he ranks among the top 20. As Lin Wenwei said this, a trace of pride appeared on his face. As if to prove his words, The painting duel on stage quickly reached its conclusion, and the winner was none other than Lin Wenwei's mentor. Hearing the judges announce that his mentor Qing Yuan had won the painting, Lin Wenwei held his head even. See? Even Master Zhou Kun is no match for my mentor, Lin Wenwei said with a look of pride, and he then turned to Su Qingluo again and said, Qingluo, shall I introduce my mentor to you? As long as I ask, he will surely take you as his. By then, both your painting and your reputation in the art will see significant growth. Su Qingluo seemed a bit tempted. She had loved painting since, but her father didn't allow her. So when she went to university, she joined to paint as a hobby. As she hesitated whether to agree or not, you suddenly spoke up, so your mentor is really that. Then he would be a perfect opponent for. As soon as you said that, both Lin Wenwei and Su Qingluo were stunned. Zhang Cheng, you have quite an ego. Do you think you have what it takes? Is that not allowed? If I can beat you, I can beat your mentor, you said with a faint smile at the corner, subtly mocking Lin Wenwei. After all, your painting from yesterday was much better than Lin Wenwei's. Otherwise, he wouldn't have stormed. Hearing this, Lin Wenwei was visibly in, but had nothing to say. Your painting yesterday, both in technique and details, was far superior to his. My mentor's painting skills even 10 of you wouldn't be a match for him. If you can beat my mentor, I'll kneel and call you father. I don't want a son like you, you replied indifferently. Let's be more practical. If I win against your mentor, give me 100,000. You said this with a calm demeanor. Lin Wenwei didn't expect you to, but he wasn't going to back down either. Fine, if you win, I'll give you 100,000. But if you lose, you have to leave the art club. Lin Wenwei wasn't short on money. His family owned a company, and his parents had plenty of wealth. Moreover, his paintings could also fetch a good price. So 100,000 yuan meant nothing to him. All he wanted now was to drive this audacious guy away from Su Qingluo. Deal. It's decided then, you said with a faint smile, turning to Su Qingluo. Senior Su, can you be our witness? Also, if I win again, my reputation in the artwork should naturally rise as well, right? The reason you wanted to challenge Master Qing Yuan was to elevate your own reputation in the artwork. That way, your paintings could. Su Qingluo came and nodded slightly, silently admiring your courage to challenge Master Qing. Meanwhile, Master Qing Yuan had just won. He was in a very good mood. You slowly walked onto the stage, then you humbly introduced yourself. My name is Zhang Ch. I am a freshman majoring in finance. I would like to have a match with Master Qing Yuan. Please, Master Qing Yuan. Guide me, Jen. The audience was slightly stunned to hear that you were just a fresh. Whispers of surprise spread through the crowd. Some praised your courage, while others thought you were reckless. However, most people were curious about your painting skills. Lin Wenwei sneered coldly and muttered, humiliating himself. How dare he challenge my mentor? Clearly, Lin Wenwei was very confident in his. Although Su Qingluo also thought against Master Qing Yuan were slim, she still shouted loudly to encourage you. Go, Zhang. As she spoke, she waved both hands toward you on the stage. Master Qing Yuan looked you up and down and smiled as he said, young man, I admire you. How many years have you been painting? I only started painting yesterday. You replied honestly. The audience erupted in chatter and discussion. Most of them thought you were here to cause trouble. After all, who challenges Master Qing Yuan after? Lin Wenwei was also surprised to hear. He never expected you to have only started painting, but remembering yes, he immediately thought you were lying, showing off in front of my mentor. Let's see how you get put in your place, he thought with a cold smirk. Su Qingluo was also surprised that you'd only been painting for it. However, no matter what, she was unconditional. Go, Zhang Cheng. Su Qingluo shouted. She seemed like your biggest fan, supporting you. No matter what you. On stage, Master Qing Yuan was also taken. Initially, he admired your courage, but now he wasn't sure how to respond. A hint of awkwardness appeared on his face. His face looked slightly off. Are you sure you're not here to cause trouble? Seeing the crowd's reaction, you realized that your honest word had been taken as nonsense by others. You quickly corrected yourself. Actually, I haven't. I just wanted to learn from Master Qing Yuan today. Hearing this, Master Qing Yuan's attitude softened. He said, if that's the case, let's begin. Shortly, the host stepped onto the stage with a microphone. Then he announced, today's theme is lotus flowers. The time limit is 1. The content can be freely interpreted. As soon as he finished, Master Qing Yuan sat back at his designated spot, picked up a brush, and began preparing to paint. You didn't dare to waste time. You picked up a brush and began mixing colors. If you wanted to beat Master Qing Yuan, you had to put all your painting skills to work. Winning against Master Qing Yuan would mean your reputation in the art world would. At that point, your paintings could sell. Su Qingluo was watching you on stage nervously, silently cheering for you. No matter if you won or lost, she was unconditionally on your side. Lin Wenwei, on the other hand, was waiting. He believed you could possibly defeat his mentor. Even with this painting duel, you couldn't win. The audience was also curious what kind of lotus painting but after more than 10 minutes you were still mixing colors without making a single stroke. This made the audience both anxious and over 10 minutes, and he's still mixing colors? Does he even know how to paint? Well, he does have guts. Knowing nothing, and yet daring to challenge Master Qingyuan on. The crowd's chatter grew louder, solidifying their belief that even mixing colors was taking you this long. Lin Wenwei sneered at you relentless. He was just waiting to see you make a. Fortunately, after half an hour, you finally had grabbing a brush randomly, you finally started. In contrast to you was Master Qingyuan. He was almost done painting. People started whispering again. You indeed ignored them. Instead, you focused serious. Once you adjusted the colors, your painting speed was very. This time, you painted right side up instead of up. By the 50th minute, Master Qingyuan finally finished a lotus flower. At this moment, you were still not. People looked on, shaking their heads, thinking you were hopeless. But they also understood. After all, you were a novice. It was natural for you to paint slowly. Fortunately, in the last, you completed a full lotus flower painting. When time was up, the host, holding a mic, returned to the center of the stage. The time for both paintings is up, the host announced. Everyone eagerly awaited to see what the two lotus paintings looked like. Soon, Master Qingyuan turned his painting around. Immediately, the content on the canvas was revealed to a master is indeed a master. The lotus flowers of West Lake were painted. Every detail was masterfully portrayed. Endless green lotus leaves with red lotuses reflecting this. Master Qingyuan's paint perfectly illustrated this ancient poem. The painting was simply stunning. Everyone nodded in agreement with Master Qingyuan, praising it profusely. Lin Wenwei, watching this, was very satisfied as well. Qingluo, what do you think of my master's lotus? If you apprentice under him, you'll be able to paint such lotuses in the future. Su Qingluo, after seeing Master Qingyuan's lotus, was full of admiration. This is not just a painting, it's poetry in motion. However, while admiring Master Qingyuan's, Su Qingluo was also worried about. To be precise, Ying Ying was somewhat curious. Master Qingyuan truly deserved as one of the top artists in his lotus painting perfectly captured the essence. It was truly impressive. After the host praised the painting on stage, he turned to you. Next, let's take a look at Mr. Zhang's painting. As the host moved, the audience also turned their attention. Mr. Zhang, please turn your canvas around, the host said, and you nodded. Then you turned the canvas toward the. At the same time, you introduced this lotus after the rain. As the canvas turned, everyone craned their necks to see. The painting's content was very different from Master Qingyuan's Westlake lotus. You painted lotus flowers in Jiangnan. There were no endless sky-reaching nor any crimson lotuses dyeing the sky. Only Jiangnan's serene and tranquil lotus with dragonflies resting on buds waiting to bloom. This serene and peaceful lotus painting brought a pleasant surprise to the audience. But soon they realized something. Mr. Zhang's painting, titled Lotus After the, had no trace of raindrops in it. Even the lotus leaves had no residual rainwater. Did he not finish the painting? Did he forget to add the raindrops? As soon as this was said, everyone seemed to agree with the sentiment. Lin Wenwei, who had initially been thinking they could rival his master, smiled again after hearing the audience. Sure enough, his skills are still too amateurish. This duel, my master. Su Qingluo sighed regretfully, thinking the missing raindrop effects and serene indeed affected the painting's aesthetics. All right, now that everyone has seen both paintings, Mr. Zhang's painting, though the details and atmosphere are quite well unfortunately, the skill is still the lotus flowers and the rainwater effects are, which is a bit unfortunate. After a brief pause, now I announce that this round, before he could finish, you interrupted him saying, my painting's true form hasn't been revealed yet. Are you already jumping to conclusions? You slightly raised the corner of your mouth. You already said it's on display. What do you mean by true form? Not only was the host confused, but the crowd also looked on in bewilderment. Could it be that he doesn't want to admit and is saying this on purpose? Can't take a loss. Just accept the defeat. There's no shame in losing, but you didn't care at all about. Instead, you confidently turned to the host and said, get me a bottle of water. Water, okay? I'll get it for you. Although the host was puzzled, he still took a bottle of mineral from a staff member and handed it to you. You took the bottle of water, unscrewed the cap. The content on the canvas suddenly changed drastically. The lotus buds in the painting began to bloom at a visible. The lotus leaves also showed traces. A true lotus after the rain painting was now revealed to the crowd. Everyone was stunned upon seeing this. Even Master Qingyuan, noticing this change, was left in awe. This is incredible. He has been alive so long, but it's the first time I've seen such a way of painting. It's truly amazing. Lin Wenwei was also stunned by your magical technique. How is this possible? How did this kid do it? How can there be such a resolute? The person at the door has their face looks as bad as it can get. This person is too amazed, using paint that changes, simulating the process of such paintings. Even a national artist might not be truly impressive. Master Qingyuan is deeply not as impressive as that little. His painting skills are truly amazing. When did he learn painting? He's really handsome. Su Qingguo is extremely excited. When looking at you on stage, her eyes are full of admiration. The host on stage was already stunned by this miracle. They even forgot to speak. You saw everyone's reaction. After a slight smile, Xuanji said to them, "Now can you announce who won and who?" Hearing your words, the host finally came to their senses. Clearly, the final result of this animation is before the host. Master Qingyuan proactively stepped to the center. He said, "I lost." As expected, there are masters among. Young brother Zhang is definitely the most impressive painter. I admit my defeat willingly. The younger generation surpasses the older. Our Dragon Kingdom's painting. With this painting, the entire audience was in an uproar. Tianhai is one of the, and yet they were defeated. This instantly sparked heated discussion. Everyone was praising your extraordinary admiring your limitless future. Among them, Lin Wenwei could not. The master he admired the most had actually lost to his rival, Zhang. How could he bear it? This little brat's painting skills are. How could he tolerate this? This little brat's painting skills are Lin Wenwei's eyes are full of He originally wanted to see you make but now it seems he has witnessed your moment of fame. Su Qingluo is the happiest here. Xuanji seems to have remembered something. He turned to Lin Wenwei and said, "Senior Lin, you just asked me if I wanted to right, Qingluo? Have you decided to apprentice to my master? Don't worry, with me, he will definitely agree to take." Lin Wenwei heard this and felt joy. Could it be that Su Qingluo has? If that's the case, he would feel a little better, because he would have the chance to get closer. But little did he know that the word Su made his heart sink even further. "Thank you, Senior Lin, for your kind offer. I want to learn painting from Zhang Chen." Su Qingluo smiled faintly. These words deeply pierced Lin. He originally wanted to get closer to Su Qing, but unexpectedly, this actually brought you. This made Lin Wenwei. He was so angry he could curse. At this moment, standing on the stage, you saw everyone pray. You nodded slightly. Then you loudly said, "Everyone, I would like to auction this. If you like it, feel free to bid. The starting price is 100,000. After leaving the art street, Su Qingluo was very. "Zhang Cheng, now that what do you plan to do?" Su Qingluo asked with anticipation. "Save money and marry," you said half jokingly, but with a serious expression. But at that moment, the person, yet you did not recognize her. Sometimes you even deliberately blocked. "Save money and marry a wife." Su Qingluo blinked her big eyes. "Save money to marry a wife." Su Qingluo blinked her big eyes. Xuanji realized that when you said wife, her face immediately turned red. She shyly said, "You're only in your first year of and you're already thinking about saving money." Although Su Qingluo said this, she was extremely happy deep inside. She hadn't expected that you were already thinking about saving money, because I want to give her the best, so I need to start saving now. You said seriously. Su Qingluo felt so moved. She was almost in tears. "It turned out that in your heart, little brother, I'll only marry you in this life." But on the outside, Su Qingluo pretended to look very envious. "I really envy your future wife. She will have such a wonderful. You're always thinking." You smiled and didn't reply. Instead, you changed the topic. "Senior Su, you helped me so much this time. I'll treat you to a big meal. Choose whatever you want. I don't know what to eat. How about we eat noodles?" Su Qingluo suddenly smiled brightly. "You're already thinking about saving, so of course, I should help you save money." I have to say, Su Qingluo is a very thoughtful and sensible girl. She really knows how to think, but you didn't know what Su Qingluo was actually thinking. She was still focused on thanking this big joke. Insomnia? You were slightly surprised. You hadn't expected that Su Qingluo, this big who helped you so much, was only thinking about insomnia. "Let's eat noodles." Su Qingluo nodded again. You looked at Su Qingluo in confusion, unable to figure out what she was, but you didn't actually take Su Qingluo to eat. Instead, you thought of a better. Soon you took her to the Shuidi Lao hot pot restaurant. "Senior Su, you order. I'm treating today. Order whatever you want," you said warmly. "All right, I've made my selection." Su Qingluo used her phone to scan the QR code on the table, began selecting hot pot ingredients. The prices for these hot pot ingredients are a bit higher compared to regular hot, but the ingredients are very fresh and they're all carefully selected. Su Qingluo only picked a few items and did. "All right, I'm done." "So fast? You're done? Aren't you going to pick a few more?" You were a bit surprised. "I'm dieting lately. I need to eat less." Su Qingluo made an excuse. Actually, she just wanted to say, "You're saving money to marry her." Su Qingluo naturally wants to think about you. But let's eat for now. If it's not enough, well, you thought that girls love beauty and often die, so you didn't think much of it. Soon, the hot pot ingredients arrived. The two of them began eating. After Su Qingluo took a bite of enoki, a little thought suddenly crossed her mind. Zhang Cheng, the wife you're going to marry, what do you think she'll look like? Su Qingluo put down her chopstick, looking at you with curiosity. She wanted to hear what this thought about her after not seeing her. What do you think? You were about to speak, but suddenly stopped, because in your memory, Su Yao was only 11 at that time, although she was chubby, but girls change a lot, so it's hard to say what she will look. You then came up with a safe, anyway, she won't look like you. You blurted out, and it almost made Su Qingluo, this silly little brother is really, why do you think your future wife won't look like me? Don't you wish that don't you want your future wife to be When Su Jinluo spoke, she exuded charm in every way. At the same time, she subtly, how could my future wife be like? You smiled and glanced at Su Qingluo. But to be honest, if you looked closely, Su Qingluo seemed, seeing this, you were slightly stunned. You froze for a moment. Xuanji quickly shook her head. She threw this absurd thought out of her. Su Qingluo smiled faintly at this point. She was secretly thinking about when this annoying little brother finds out that she's his fiancé. She really looked forward to that day. While eating halfway through, Su Qingluo seemed to remember something important. Xuanji's expression became, oh right, Zhang Cheng, you're so good at drawing. Can you teach me? I want to learn how to draw from you. As for drawing, Su Jinruo was very serious. She had loved drawing, but her father said drawing was you. He made her learn foreign language so that she could later help the family business. Therefore, Qingluo never received formal art education. She purely and hobby to get to where she is now. And asking you to Su Qingluo had some selfish motive. That was to have more time to spend with you. This was truly a win-win situation. Before you could make a choice, the system's voice sounded again. Ding! Perfect system mission. Option 1. Agree to teach Su Qingluo. Reward: master level and purification. Option 2. Refuse Su Qingluo's request. Reward: lose 1 egg. You were speechless after reading this. This dog system is forcing you were speechless after this dog system is forcing me to choose again. Lose 1 egg? Does that make me half a eunuch? I might not even be able to have children. Can we get a normal choice for once? Every time it forces you to make a choice. After cursing the dog system you finally calmed down. You said to Su Qingluo, no problem. Senior Su, if you want to learn to, of course I'll teach you. Ding! Congratulations, host. You made a reward, master level and purification rebate of 1 million. Su Qingluo was overjoyed when she felt a wave of happiness. Great, it's settled then. You can't back out. Tomorrow is Sunday. Let's meet at the art club. Su Qingluo said, her face full of joy. She could not only spend time but also learn to draw. This was simply perfect. It would be even better if something unexpected happened, Su Qingluo thought to herself, and her smile turned a bit red. All right, no problem. Just text me on WeChat then. You didn't think too much. In fact, even without the system, you would have agreed to Su Qingluo's request. After all, Senior Su really helped you a lot today. Su Qingluo was in a very good mood now. She felt that her relationship had become a bit closer, but she felt it wasn't close enough, not intimate enough. She randomly suggested to Zhang to celebrate your fame and big earnings today. Let's have some drinks. Do you know how to drink? You smiled and asked, of course I do. I can drink a whole bottle of red. Su Qingluo replied, not convinced. Actually, Su Qingluo didn't drink much. She had just seen drinking could help her get closer to God. That's why she wanted to try it. All right then, I'll order a bottle of red wine. Saying that, you scanned the QR code, then you ordered a bottle of red. Soon, the red wine was brought over by the waiter, and it was already opened. The wine is here. This time, I'll pour it. You were afraid that what happened where you both fought for the drink, and so you hurriedly poured the wine for Su Qingluo. All right, just a little more. Su Qingluo said, somewhat casually. This wine has a strong maybe you should drink less. You only dared to pour Su Qingluo half a glass, afraid she would get drunk. Su Qingluo had never drunk before. This seemed to be her first time. Looking at the small half glass of Su Qingluo took a small sip. It tasted a bit sour, a bit sweet. It didn't seem too bad. It actually tasted pretty good. Su Qingluo quickly downed the rest of the. You were slightly shocked when you saw that. Senior Su, why did you drink it all? It's fine. I have a good tolerance for alcohol. Just as Su Qingluo finished saying, her smile turned red with a blush. Her head started to feel a little dizzy. Not long after, she collapsed. Her posture was quite ungraceful. You were speechless seeing. How could you say you have a good? You even bragged that you could drink, and yet you're already passed out after. You couldn't help but shake. Xuanji herself also took a. Then she walked over to help Su Qingluo. But as soon as you helped her up, Su Qingluo grabbed your neck. Her eyes were a little blurry from. Senior Su, let me help you to the. You awkwardly tried to explain. Little did you know, Drunk Suqingluo, her head felt dizzy. She was also losing her rationality. Looking at your handsome face, Suqingluo's face grew even redder. Her breathing became a bit fast. Little brother, you're so handsome. After saying this, Suqingluo wrapped her arm and, to your surprise, kissed you. At the moment of contact, you were frozen in place. At this moment, you had only one thought. My God, Sushiji actually kissed me. This is the second time I've kissed Su. I've been defiled by. You wanted to cry, but quick, you immediately pushed Suqingluo away. Senior Su, wake up. You hurriedly wiped off the lips. You were filled with regret. If only I had known that I wouldn't have ordered the red wine. Then, I would. And it seems like this is the second time she's kissed. I was saving my first kiss for my fiancé. Now it's been stolen by Suqingluo again. Looking at you couldn't help but feel helpless. If she were sober, you could scold, but now she's drunk. She probably doesn't even remember what she did. There's no point in questioning her. With a sigh, you picked Suqingluo up, then you laid her down on the Suqingluo lying on the chair, completely exposed her graceful curve, especially her legs wrapped in which were particularly eye-catching. If it were any other man, he might have taken advantage while she was unconscious, but you had no such thoughts. You were really amazed by her. If you can't drink, then don't. Now I've lost my first kiss because of you. You were speechless, but you still found a waiter to bring. Then you carefully drank. You are speechless, but you still called a waiter to bring a blanket. Then you carefully the blanket over Suqingluo's. You also asked the waiter for a bowl. After some effort, you finally coaxed. After doing all this, you finally returned to your. Now you could relax, and you had been too focused on Suqingluo. You hadn't eaten much yourself. Now at last, you could peacefully enjoy. Now that you could fully enjoy the hot pot. After drinking the hangover soup, felt her mind gradually clearing up. Why am I lying here? Wasn't I drinking just now? Suqingluo rubbed her head, still feeling a bit dizzy. But it's much better now. You're awake. As you spoke, you picked up a piece of green vegetable and put it in your mouth. Zhang Cheng, did I pass out from the alcohol? Suqingluo sat up again, looking much more refreshed. Didn't you say you could drink a whole bottle? How did you pass out after just a little more? You laughed and teased her. It's because I'm not feeling well today. Suqingluo's face turned red. Xuanji seemed to. She asked, when I was drunk earlier, I didn't do anything inappropriate. Suqingluo vaguely remembered seeing her stinky little brother that she couldn't resist kissing. She also felt the wet and slippery sensation of his lip, which made her feel a bit, but it seemed like he pushed her away afterward. What do you think? You said, looking at how dare you steal a kiss. This made you quite angry. If it weren't for the fact that Suqingluo was drunk, you definitely wouldn't have let it. Suqingluo saw your angry expression and seemed to realize something. Her face turned even. So I really did steal a kiss from the. Suqingluo's heart skipped a beat. Then she instinctively her delicate lips. She seemed a bit nostalgic for the taste. Suqingluo didn't feel drunk at all. Instead, she thought she had been quite bold. She had done something she wanted to do. After finishing the hot pot, you sent Suqingluo back to the dorm. When Suqingluo returned to the dorm, she hugged her phone and sent you a message. I'm in the dorm now. Thanks for treating me to hot pot today. Suqingluo's message, it's I who should thank you. If it weren't for your help, I wouldn't have been able to sell. You quickly replied. Seeing your quick response, Suqingluo was very happy. Xuanji sat on the bed, stretching out her showing off their alluring curves. Then she happily continued typing. That's because your drawing is good. Otherwise, who would buy your flower? By the way, don't forget you said you would teach me to draw tomorrow. Don't worry, Senior Su promised. I won't break my word. We'll draw tomorrow. You quickly replied again. Suqingluo saw this and felt excited about meeting a single man and woman alone in a room. Just thinking about it made Suqingluo. She couldn't wait for tomorrow to come. Maybe I should bring a bottle of wine. As soon as this thought appeared in her face turned bright red. The next day was Sunday. There were no classes because today, you planned to go and try out the master level identification along with the 1 million rebate from. However, after finishing breakfast at a stall, Suqingluo's message came in. Stinky, good morning. You quickly, after thinking about how she helped you yesterday, you hesitated for a moment before replying. What are you doing this morning? What are you doing this morning? When will you teach me to draw, handsome teacher? Suqingluo's messages came in one after another. Her words carried a hint of playfulness, and you really couldn't do anything about. After thinking for a moment, in the morning, I'm going to Haiyuan Art Street. In the afternoon, after all, I promise Suqingluo. I can't break my promise. You're going to Haiyuan Art Street to see. Wait for me. I also need to go there to see ancient. Let's go together. Suqingluo quickly replied. You didn't expect Su Qingluo would be going. You wanted to refuse, but seeing that she helped you yesterday, you couldn't bring yourself. You quickly replied, I'm at the school. I'll wait for you for 5 minutes.